everybody. Welcome back to the show. Of course, there is only one thing to talk about today, and that is our Vancouver Canucks.
The Stanley, absolutely. Squire Barnes joining us now, sports anchor with Global Television, and, well, all things hockey, right? I mean, did we talk about it? Have you talked about the NBA at all?
Actually, I showed NBA highlights the other night.
Doesn't it seem kind of weird, though?
I know, because, you know, I thought, well, if the Canucks weren't involved, you might be like talking about how everybody hates the Miami Heat, but right. I don't really care anymore.
Yeah, it would have been a great story.
Nobody cares.
I don't care.
Well, you know who I feel sorry for is the BC Lions and the Vancouver Whitecaps. The BC Lions training camp starts this week.
Yeah, and the Whitecaps played last night.
The Whitecaps played last night. The Whitecaps, to get in the headlines, had to have a human sacrifice.
They fired their coach and their goalie? Is that what it was?
That's what they did. They fired their coach.
And yet they're all, I mean, they're doing what I think they have to do, which is, you know, saying the right things about the Canucks, and they're all cheering for them. But at the same point, they must be like, come on, end this.
Well, it is bearing everybody.
Yeah.
But that's to be expected.
And so we are in June, still watching hockey. And the last time we did this was 17 years ago. What is it like for you to be reliving this Stanley Cup fever that we've got?
You know what? I think it's different this time.
Yeah.
And I think it became different over the years. I think that one of the biggest changes is I find more young women are interested in hockey than ever before.
Yeah.
It was that way sort of in '94, but now it seems like you really get a lot, and not just the playoffs, but just regular games. You see, you know, hey, let's go to this bar because everybody's going to watch the game tonight, and it's kind of a meet and greet place.
Yeah.
It's changed dramatically.
Well, there's an inclusivity to the fan base in Vancouver that that's amazing to me. I mean, it's like the Olympics, right? You go down to Granville Street, and there's people from all kinds of ethnic backgrounds.
And it's more positive, and there's no riots.
Yeah, there's no riots, which is kind of nice.
Well, if you're going to riot, please riot responsibly.
And there's
You heard it from Squire Barnes.
We're going to turn that moment into a PSA.
Yeah, I think it was.
There's a certain confidence this year too that I think even the fans sort of felt that's changed.
I think
vibe.
that confidence was shaken in the first round.
Was it ever?
With Chicago, but then after they beat, like getting rid of the Blackhawks, I think like. Okay, the dragon has been slain.
It's a psychological thing too, especially
for fans and players. I think.
Well, and I love because you're doing this special on the Stanley Cup, of course, and you must, you know, you were saying you were watching the game and you're one goal away from ending the run of the Stanley.
When we proposed the show, it's like, okay, let's just do a show as long as the Canucks are in it. If the Canucks are not in it, we'll just shut the show down because then who's going to care?
Yeah.
And of course, you hire people to help you out in the show. And a friend of mine, I brought her in. Oh, you know, help out producing the show.
Help out with the Stanley show.
And I remember turning to her in Game 7 in overtime against Chicago and said, "If Chicago scores, you're out of a job."
Squire.
You're about to be
let's talk about another.
I'll still be here, but I don't like your chances.
I don't know about you.
Let's talk about another guest that you've had on the show. A little kid. His name is Zach. How did you find out about him?
Well,
what does he do?
They sent a video in, and Zach, I guess he had I think he was 4 when the video was made, but now he's the advanced age of 5. And it was a video of him sitting on a couch looking sort of mildly interested in what his mother was asking him. And she was asking him, you know, what number's Dan Hamhuis? 2. What number's Kevin Bieksa? 3. So they said, this producer, I'll say her name, Chandra, said to me, well, let's get him on the show. I said, well, I mean, he's young, it may not work out. No, he'll be great, And he was great. And I just started, it wasn't set up ahead of time. I asked him not only like the numbers and the players' names, and he got the numbers, but he also knew, like if I said November such and such, oh, they played Philadelphia that night, or they played so-and-so that night. I know.
He was nailing it?
He's like the Rain Man of Canucks trivia. It's amazing.
Okay, well, let's have a look at a clip of Zach right now.
I have to have a cheat sheet because I'm old. I got a bad memory. Who's number 13?
Rafi Torres.
All right. Who's number 39? He didn't play much last night. 39.
Cody Hodgson.
Yes, Cody Hodgson. Very good.
Unbelievable. And he's kind of your doppelganger, Squire.
I know. Well, and his parents, he is. Because they asked me several times if he's your kid. And it's like, hey, the guy's dad's standing right there.
We can't talk about this right now.
We can't have a fist fight.
But what I love about the show is because hockey in this town goes deeper than just the game, right? Like, and
yeah, you don't want. I mean, we could sit around and do the. And I'm not knocking the chat shows where they have like 43 experts talking about the power play. That's great. But you want to engage the fans because you're right, it's sort of like the Olympics. Everybody's involved. Everybody has a story. We get photos all the time. You've seen it. We've all seen it of, people dressing up, however, dressing up their businesses, dressing up their houses, their cars, whatever.
The amount of jerseys that were around here yesterday, too, it's just incredible.
It's insane. Yeah, everybody has some sort of Canuck paraphernalia.
Well, and it's, because I was talking to someone about this the other day, for me, what makes hockey so special and what makes the Canucks for me so special isn't necessarily whether they win or lose over the years. It's that all those memories are tied into family and friendship. I remember watching games with my dad in the basement. When I watch with all my friends, it's like, it's a really sort of shared experience.
It's sort of like when you hear a song.
Yeah.
Where was I when that song was when I first heard it? What's that remind me of? But yeah, it's like when you bring up, and there's a lot of fans who don't remember ~82, obviously young fans, but you remember there's the older fans. Oh, I remember this, I remember that. '94, I remember this, I remember that. And the nice thing is not to downgrade what the '82 and '94 guys did, because those are great memories. But at least now we don't have to keep clinging to when we lost. That's the thing. It's like, remember, because I know one of the guys at our work is from Alberta, and Barry DeLay, and he always said, I never quite got it in this town, because he grew up near Edmonton. You guys cling to this moment where you lost.
That's all we got.
That's all we got.
Are you a superstitious person at all?
No, I'm not.
Not at all?
No.
Do you think superstitious people are crazy?
I wouldn't say they're crazy. I just don't think they're right.
He's talking about you right now. So I'm not going to ask you for a prediction on the series.
Superstition?
Well, Mike and I had a lot going in, both of us different things. I'm wearing my Luongo jersey. I'm doing this. I'm not doing that. You know what? They all went out the window.
Yeah, after the first round, you sort of lose it, right? You realize that despite what I think, what's going to happen is directly affected.
Players are highly superstitious.
I know.
Yeah, crazy. And they say they're not, too, to a person, but they have their rituals or routines. So I'm not going to ask you to predict the series, but how much longer do you think the Stanley Show will be going on?
I think the Stanley Show will be going to the 5th game.
You know what? Me too. I actually do. It's Game 5, man. It's going to be the one to be at.
We brought on, one of the things we did was remember that octopus for the World Cup in Germany?
Yeah.
He picked 8 games in a row.
And then he died.
So then he died.
Yeah.
The whole pressure overwhelmed him and killed him.
So when are you doing this human sacrifice on your show?
No, we're doing a parrot. We went to the Vancouver Aquarium. We said, give us something. It's like they gave us no marine life, but they brought out Cosmo the parrot. Okay, so what we did was we put like a Canuck, for the last round, Canucks and Sharks thing, and went game by game. He picked every game exactly right. Including the Sharks winning Game 3. He's picked the Canucks in 5. I'm working with the parrot.
Squire has no superstition.
No superstition.
And
I know, I
it's crazy, but Cosmo the parrot
It's not a superstition.
Game 5.
I understand the intelligence of the animal world. And I'm going, yes.
They know more than us.
They know.
Squire, always a pleasure.
They know when earthquakes are coming. They know when the Canucks.
Say hi to Cosmo for me.
So if Cosmo starts flying out of the studio, Squire will be right behind his tail
Watch
feathers.
Squire on the Stanley Show, of course.
Love it. Weeknights at 11:30 now, right?
Yes, 11:30, yes.
11:30. Tune in. It's a great show. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
As always, we're going to take a break.